Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And folks, we're going to get a little slandery today, if that's even a word. There is a lot going on. Sony keeps losing, but the media wants you to think that they keep winning because they're trying to hold down Xbox. And the latest victim of their shenanigans, if you will, is Forza Motorsport that cannot seem to catch a fair shake when it comes to the review process because, well, this game sucks, according to some on the interwebs. We're going to get into it. We're going to have a lot to talk about. We got some new information from The Verge regarding Activision Blizzard King on when the closing should indeed happen. Friday the 13th, next Friday, folks. Yes, it is going to be a bloodbath indeed because, well, Jason Voorhees, a.k.a. Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Killer Spencer, is going to be closing the deal. And guess what, folks? Call of Duty is not first party. And I am laughing because the day that the first Call of Duty drops into Game Pass, well, I can't say on the air what I said to the guys in the green room. It was pretty slanderous, but let's welcome in everybody here. You're gonna check out my footage. I have an hour worth. I'll throw some other stuff in. I tried to get some recorded footage of Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I am playing, and there are just too many games. I just don't even know what to do with myself. I'm going from game to game to game, and I hate doing that. But Assassin's Creed, I'm really liking it. And again, I didn't spend a dime. Well, technically I did, but I just pressed the download button and got the $100 edition in Ubisoft Plus on Xbox. And well, you should do that as well because this month I got 2 games and both of them are really, really good. And I just cannot wait for Ubisoft Plus to drop into Xbox Game Pass proper and not cost a dime, which it's going to be. And I think that's going to happen thanks to this Ubisoft marketing deal. But my God, we got to get into the introductions and we're going to have a lot of fun on this show. Web Dave, hello, kind sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm expecting some slander from you, as we always do. Sony keeps losing, but the media says otherwise. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm hard to wait to get into these topics, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what Fuzzy has to say about this amazing game he's been playing.
Yeah, I have 26 hours in. I have 11 of 57 achievements. It is a game that I did not expect to like. I'll tell you that, Fuzzy. I love Forza, but I am more of a Horizon guy than a motorsport guy. And what they've done with this game is make it addictive. And every race matters. And every race you are leveling up, if you will, and you're getting new cars. And at first I was like, oh my God, if I gotta get a new ride, I gotta start at 1. But then you start racing with the car and you start upgrading the car, and you're like, my God, this is addicting. Now I gotta start going and upgrading other cars. How are you doing this morning, brother? Good morning.
Well, I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm probably a little low on sleep as well this time around, given Forza's out and everything. But yeah, it's an amazing game, and I can't wait to get back to it. But yeah, glad to be here with you guys. Awesome time to be a gamer. There's plenty of games to play, and I got one of my favorites in hand now. So we'll definitely get into it.
Absolutely. Dreadpool, how you feeling this morning, brother? What did you have for breakfast? Because I had some fluffy blueberry waffles with a nice cup of coffee. Quite frankly, it was scrumptious, if you will.
We did the Petrified Forest haunted trail last night, so this morning was no cooking. It was going to the clown breakfast combo bundle, if you want to, sausage Mickey's.
Okay, listen.
So we did that, so we cheated, but you got to do that sometimes,
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with cheating every now and again. As long as it fills your belly, you're good.
Yeah, 3-hour drive there, 3-hour drive back.
Gee
The whole time was phenomenal. Talked to the directors. They had some really cool stuff. I got some stuff for you guys too in the future. But yeah, that's all we had for breakfast. Just cheap Mickeys.
All right, listen, like
Yeah.
that. As long as it's delicious, who cares? But it's good that you're back. Glad to have you here, brother. We can't wait to get into these topics.
Yeah, I love to describe my food, but when it comes to cheap Mickeys, I don't want to describe that stuff. We all know.
Well,
that.
I mean, listen, it is what it is, and
Yes.
Crispy Bomb, another slanderous kind of a topic. Again regarding a very apparent media bias. Microsoft will not win. Xbox will not win, regardless of what the game could be a 10, and it's going to start. These websites are going to start with a review process that is negative 1.5, almost every title. So every game, regardless of how good it is, what you see on your screen, regardless of how good it is and how much fun it is, how many people are playing, they're just not going to get a fair shake. How are you feeling, bro?
Well, I get to be that guy that hasn't played either game. So I'm not a sim racer. I don't like them. The last one I probably beat was Gran Turismo 2 way back in the day. And I literally
3 was the last one that I really enjoyed. I really, really enjoyed Gran Turismo 3. After that, I have not enjoyed one since then.
Yeah, I mean, and you know how big and long 2 was, and it's like,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I beat the living heck out of it. Like I had every car in the game. Like I had 2 memory cards full. Like it was like, and then all of a sudden, I fell out of love with it. And the one thing I could say is that being that I haven't played either game, seeing comparisons and stuff, I have done my due diligence. And I can say this, I don't understand how there's a 3-point difference. And I could just leave it at that because
we're going to get into it. And one of the topics that I think we are going to cover, and I think we're going to go more Forza Motorsport first because we have Fuzzy here, and I really want to get his hot take on it. And I want to get this whole Gran Turismo 7 versus Forza Motorsport out of the way. Because PlayStation is burning from the inside. You saw my thumbnail with Kratos yelling "Toasty." That was a homage to you, Mr. Mortal Kombat, Crispy Bomb. And no one's talking about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. No one wants to admit that Jim Ryan has left PlayStation limping. They are not the same animal that they once were. They're a wounded animal. Now, I'm not going to sit here and suggest to anyone that they are out of business, that they can't make another banger. It's PlayStation. I expect that they are going to deliver on their next AAA game. Spider-Man, I mean, even past Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is going to be a banger. Let's call a spade a spade. I cannot wait for it. And I am putting down literally everything to play that game because I am a Spider-Man stan. I'm a Marvel stan and proud of it. Cannot wait to see what they do with Craven. Cannot wait to see what they do with Eddie Brockless, if you will, Venom. And it's fine. I'll take a different, an Elseworlds story, if you will. Insomniac is good for telling those tales, and I cannot wait to see what Ted Price and that team has put together for us. But they are not the same. They are not who we thought that they were. And we're going to get into that, on the back end of the show. But Fuzzy, I want to start with you first. You are Mr. Forza. You're Mr. Gran Turismo. I mean, even your birth name. If I go to your birth certificate, it's going to say something about driving in there. And that's why we love having you a part of this show. There's a lot to celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
This is the game that came out. It has captivated even the non-driving guys like me. Like, I'm a Forza guy, but I'm a Forza Horizon guy because I want to crash through signs. I want to run through water. I want to knock people out of the way. I want to do 1,200-foot jumps. I can't do that here. So I'm going to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I thought that I was going to play this game like, it's just another Forza. But it's something about what they did with this game that's different from the others, especially when it comes to your character, especially when it comes to the rides that you acquire. It makes you want to continue to play. When I'm not thinking about playing Forza, when I'm not playing Forza, I'm thinking about playing Forza. But I really want you to start off with, is this game actually a lesser production than Gran Turismo 7. That, folks, I want this to be clear. Gran Turismo 7 was given high marks, and and we have this on confirmed facts. This is how you know the media is full of shit. Any other company that would have hid microtransactions from the gaming media would have, the torches and the pitchforks would have been out immediately. If this would have been Xbox pulling this, forget about it, right?
Well, they even tried to make a big to do about the quote unquote loot boxes in Motorsport 7 when there weren't loot boxes. It was based on in-game credits, and they were like
in-game
reward
credits
boxes.
that you can buy the boxes. You don't have to spend real world money. Unlike, I don't know, PlayStation make you spend all of this money just to buy a car. And of course, then they use the real world pricing goes higher, and then sometimes it goes lower. I'm not here to play the stock market. I'm here to play a freaking game. Are you kidding me? But no, that's okay. It's currently sitting at an 87, right? Now, I know I saw the videos. J-Rock, you're listening, brother. I know you put it out there. There was a car that was flipping past the finish line and won the race. Flipping. And this is what you were getting in Gran Turismo. But you know what? It's PlayStation, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's get your hot take on this, man.
All right. Well, first, I would like to say a lot of the reviews when Gran Turismo came out, you could tell that there was, I guess you could say like a copy, and not really a copy and paste, but there was a lot of topic points from PlayStation given to a lot of these review sites. That's why there's 25 plus that say something about a love letter. That goes to tell you that's almost like when a store sells a product and they give you the same description, whether you're on Best Buy or any other electronic store or Amazon, and you see the same points. That's when it's given. The press kit's basically given from that company, and Sony did that with Gran Turismo. Plus, considering how long it takes Polyphony to make Gran Turismo, you only get one once every 10 years, give or take. As far as a full game, Sport was not a full game. It was a nice, stopgap, but it wasn't a full game. So you have a lot of that where, they're automatically going to get a higher score because they leave their fans waiting or wanting for more. And after like basically a 10-year hiatus on a full game, it automatically by default gets a higher score to some extent, especially when microtransactions are purposely not there for the review process, and the day it goes live that they're there. It just goes to show that there was an intention to conceal some stuff. But all of that aside, let's focus on Forza. And when it comes to the new Motorsport versus Motorsport 7, it's an improvement in every way, although there are some certain caveats. Yes, there are a few tracks, they're short a few tracks in comparison, but as we're hearing for like the content cadence, they're going to have tracks pretty much every month added to their already starting off with 20. They started off with 500 cars. More of them are geared to be race cars or track-worthy cars. Not knocking those that drive a Prius or anything like that, but seeing cars like that in a racing game, sometimes it takes away from the on-track racing aspect, unless you really feel like leveling up that Prius to make it a Mustang or Camaro killer kind of thing. But all of that aside, there's improvement on the AI in comparison to the driver tar system of the past. Although it still needs some tweaks, it could still stand some improvement, but it is a good bit better than what we had in Motorsport 7, where you would all pile up into the first turn and so forth. Now you see some of them run off track, and I have a bug report that I'm going to send off to them about that. I think there's a steering issue that's affecting the AI and drivers if you're making quick switchback turns. But aside from that, AI is a big improvement. The car handling and feel, whether you're hitting the curbs, just dipping a tire in the grass, coming out of that turn or exiting out of that turn off to the straight, all of that, you can definitely feel the feedback, whether you're using a controller or force feedback wheel. They've improved on all of that. They've given you a lot more adjustability for your controller or wheel as far as dead space, force feedback, things along those lines. So things that you would expect out of a real sim racing game, there's a lot more to fiddle with to kind of get it more to your liking. Two people can have the exact same wheel, drive the exact same car in game, and want to have different settings just based on their comfort level. And there's plenty of that. The accessibility aspect, which you hit it on your video, is huge, where it opens it up to a broader audience. Like, let's be real. Sim racing is more of a niche as far as there's a few of us,
especially
knuckleheads or
this kind of
motorheads
a
and stuff.
racer. This is when you
Yeah.
say the word niche, I really want people to understand this is as niche as it gets. Gran Turismo 7 is as niche as it gets because it's very, very technical.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, what they did here, and if you missed my video, it was 1 hour, it was like 55 minutes. Please go check it out. I mean, I'd like to think I did a good job.
Yeah.
I tried to break down everything. I mean, I had you guys and gals didn't see it. My desk was littered with notes, like, because I wanted to get it right. I normally don't do reviews, but this had so much in there that I needed to try and get as much information in at 55 minutes. I hopefully did that, but please continue, Fuzzy.
Yeah. And you hit on a lot of good points in your video as far as the review. Like, I think the key thing is, like what you hinted at before, as far as the not necessarily the one more lap aspect, but going back to racing that car to get it to level up, to get more parts for it, and to get more comfortable with it, or get it more to your liking, and get more competitive. So that way the first three aren't leaving you in the dust type of deal. You know, the biggest fun part is once you get the car dialed in, is basically hunting them down and reeling them in lap by lap, gaining a second or so, or a few tenths of a second each time, making the corner a better turn on the corner, or exiting out of the turn and getting a segment bonus and things along those lines. Overtaking the car, getting the segment bonus or overtake bonus and stuff that help level up your car as well as your driving level and stuff. But there is that carrot at the end of the stick that they've been able to implement into this more so than they have with previous motorsports. Now, there is some contention as far as when it comes to how that part system works, where I could see some gripes about it. Originally, I was a little apprehensive on it, where I didn't want to have to level up a car I didn't necessarily want to drive, but it's a lot more fluid, and it's not as restrictive as I originally thought. But there are some exceptions to that, where let's say you want to get multiple of the same car, which I tend to do sometimes, instead of just changing the paint scheme and changing the setup. When I want to have a car as a drift car or drag race car, or a certain short circuit, or track with long straightaways and things like that, instead of having like different setups, I rather just have cars that are already preset, so I could just switch to the car instead of switching the tune or maybe even the paint scheme. But the big thing with that system is that it does pretty much make you more attached to your selections as far as what you put in the car. You do the practice, you see if the tire air pressure things that you've adjusted pay off, or if it would have been better to upgrade the brakes. Are you having a little bit more trouble where you're pretty much sliding at the entry of turns, or are you having it where the loose end or the rear end's a little bit looser? You're going to have to go with sway bars to kind of tighten things up and things along those lines. So it helps you get more familiar with the adjustments you need to make to a race car, or what would be more comfortable as far as your steering comfort and things along those lines. But overall, it's a huge improvement just on the feel, huge improvement on the competitiveness as far as trying to not turn it into a wreck fest, and staying in basically your line while the AI is taking its own line, and making sure that you come out of the turn without banging doors and things. It can be difficult at times, but as you tune your car better, tighten things up, it makes it a lot more of a rewarding experience. But I would say this game, it's an awesome foundation in comparison to previous motorsports. There are some things that I would like to see them improve on, but out of the gate, this isn't an 84. This is more of like, I would say 88 to 90 range. Now, I know some of those that aren't familiar with or may not prefer sim racers will grade it accordingly or slightly lower because of, some of the issues where they may want to just hop into a car, tune it to their liking like they've done in previous motorsport, and then have at it. But This is trying to kind of give you more of a sense of ownership of the vehicle and tying you to the specific event where you might be based on like certain restrictions as far as capping out at a C600 as opposed to making it an A700 or something like that type of deal. But yeah, it's an awesome game, awesome step in the right direction. There is some stuff that they're going to need to tighten up. There are some small issues when it comes to painting brake calipers and wheels, not game breaking, but stuff that they need to address in a patch.
But these are the small things. See, and I love how you specifically just said foundation.
Yeah.
Like, we don't build buildings from the roof down, right?
Yeah.
You build buildings or platforms or games from the ground up. And I'll say this as a novice, and that's what I am, folks, super, super wet behind the ears when it comes to Forza Motorsport, because it's not usually my bag. As someone that usually takes these games at an arm's length, I'm here to tell you that this is probably, out of all of the motorsports, and I've played and owned them all, the most approachable one to date. It allows for me, Mr. Novice, who doesn't know shit from Shimo when it comes to racing, how to play with the parts. Like, I don't do the automatic upgrades anymore. I'm actually in there and I'm looking at things and I'm like, okay, I really like this car. Like the car you see on the screen, I really do like this Audi. And I'm looking, I'm taking things away, I'm putting things in, I'm changing rims. And I never do that when it comes to more Forza. Somehow they have gotten me in.
Yeah,
Please continue.
They definitely have taken measures as far as getting people more involved in the tuning of their car. So it's no longer just searching for a hot tune as far as some of the friends on your friends list or some of the tuners of the community and things like that. You can actually build your own tune based on what feels comfortable for you or what works for the particular car you have to get it more competitive in that grouping. But there's so many things with this game being more of like basically a platform that they're going to add on when it comes to events, cars, and tracks. This is a solid start and worthy of a higher than 84 score. When comparing this to Gran Turismo, now I'll say this: at launch, I would say this is a stronger case. Now, Gran Turismo has a few features now that I really, really like, that I would like to see made or implemented somehow into motorsport. But these are more so a me thing, where you can select cars from your garage to use for the AI, so you can race against either your own cars and things like that.
That's a great feature. That's a fantastic feature, dude.
And that for me, I can recreate a IMSA race or something like that based on those cars, and it feels like I'm actually in one of those actual races because it's the same paint schemes, same setups, and things along those lines. So I think that will be a possibility for them to do later on. But outside of that, I know Dustin Legary had a few graphical issues, and I experienced the same thing. But after doing the reset and restarting the console, the ray tracing performance ray tracing versus performance, or even just the graphic or fidelity version, each one of those, they tell you don't have to do the restart. You're probably better off doing the restart. So that's something that they probably need to change as far as messaging. But Forza, to me, when visually comparing them, they've drastically improved their track surroundings and environments. Now, the one thing that I think a lot of people kind of get misunderstood to some extent is when you're in an overcast day. So you're playing performance ray tracing. Well, it's overcast, so you're not going to see as much reflection because you got the cloud cover and everything affecting what's going to reflect on the car. So if you're having a clear sunny day on one game and a somewhat cloudy day or overcast day or hazy day, it's going to make the cars look different and not show as well. And that was one of the first things I noticed kind of with Dustin Legary's track or his video. The other thing is what you see in game versus the replays are a difference. And I've had this argument with Dark whatever one, or whatever the one from Digital Foundry. The replay is not an exact one for gameplay. They say it is. I've proven it's not. You can take a photo on pause and see that there are better, I would say it's a higher fidelity on the replay one, even if it's like a difference of 100 or 200, pixels or whatever. It is a difference on that. And Gran Turismo to this day still does a slightly better job in their replay cameras and their overall replay look. I would like to see Motorsport improve that, but it's more so like if you're watching a TV broadcast, and I think somebody at Gran Turismo or at Polyphony pays more attention to what the broadcast stuff does, so they position those cameras there. With Motorsport, it's not as much of a priority because they're more focused on the racing, but side by side while playing the game, it's no contest. It is easily a Motorsport win for that. But when you go to replay, I still give the nod to GT7 only because.
But you know what? But what you're doing is you're being fair. Okay, what you're saying is that, okay, yeah, this is a better product, but Gran Turismo does some things that are better. I would like to see those differences, those be transitioned over. That's the way you review a game. That's not how we're seeing it being done, though.
No, for like kind of like what you said before, Xbox, and we even talked about this before with even Starfield. It seems like as of more recently, like when it wasn't a threat to PlayStation, a lot of the Forzas that had less content than this coming out of the gate got higher scores right off the bat because it's on Xbox and they it's just focused for Xbox and not really a slight to PlayStation. But as Xbox is now starting to eat, I wouldn't say eat all of PlayStation's lunch, but it is gaining some ground or gaining momentum. It almost seems like there's this reaction from the media to kind of say, well, it's definitely not this, but yet if you put them side by side in actual gameplay as opposed to doing the replay or photo mode or escapes mode, you can see that there is an advantage on Motorsport side. But I don't know, the media bias to some extent, it is what it is. But overall, I would say for anyone that's into cars, period, this is a game that you should definitely give a try. If you're into sim racing, this is the way to go, whether you use a controller or a wheel, preferably a wheel. It seems like they've geared this one compared to previous ones more so to be not necessarily an advantage, but more comfortable without having to do as many.
Yeah, ACG actually said that in his review, if you didn't see it, I mean, he doesn't need my help for subs. The guy's got 1 million subs, but I love ACG. I love the way he does his reviews. And he actually said in his review that they really pulled out all the stops when it comes to the wheels that you can use for Forza Motorsport. And again, I don't have the space for it. I'm like I said, I'm in an apartment, so. But I want like one of those chairs. Like you can literally sit in there and put the wheel. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. Eventually, some year, at some point, when we have a place that's our own, we will do that. But I'm glad to hear. Listen, see, and this is why I wanted you to go first, because you really did lay the groundwork for what could potentially be. And listen, folks, you can call me whatever you want. You can call me a tinfoil hat knucklehead. I don't care. If you don't see that there is media bias going on literally in front of your eyes, you need to borrow my pair of glasses or get your eyes checked. I'm sorry. It's when you see a game like, and again, you heard Fuzzy Belvedere give at different points praise to Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo 7 isn't a terrible game. They're continuing to upgrade it, but we gotta call a spade here, folks. This game at launch wasn't an 87. It was barely a 78. And they reversed the scores because it's a PlayStation. Again, I say this, and I honestly and truly mean it. When the media is the media that we know who we thought that they were, and they're going to their computers and they're sitting in front of it and they're going to review an Xbox game, it's already negative 1.5 because it's an Xbox game. And because of this ABK deal and because of Starfield exclusivity, it may even be 2 points. When they go to their PCs, it's the exact opposite. Before they're even touching the game, it's already a 1.5 in the box. And anyone that says otherwise is just not reading the room correctly. I am sorry. I'm sorry. We have back-to-back games that have obviously been deducted points because of being Xbox exclusives or being again, like I said, I think a lot of this has to do with the media pushing back against the ABK deal. That's just my opinion. I want to bring in Fuzzy. I want to bring in Crispy Bomb. Crispy, I got to hear your slanderous take on this. Look, at the end of the day, we're here to talk and celebrate what you see on your screen, which is, of course, Forza Motorsport. It is the first Forza Motorsport since 2017. It is leaps and bounds better. And like I said, I think the biggest aspect for me is that somehow they have pulled a Horizon player into this game, and all I want to do is race in this game. It's the craziest thing. And right now, what you see in front of you, my favorite of the 20 tracks, Maple Valley, it's very Horizon-esque because it's wide open. Yes, it is a racetrack, but it's big and it's long. Pause. Let's get your hot take on Forza, but I want to talk about the apparent media bias that people are just, well, they're just shoo-shooing it.
You know, I mean, you got to go with Fuzzy here. And that's the one thing I said at the beginning of the show. How can you tell me, even with not playing either game, that this is not at least equal to Gran Turismo? I mean, you got to call BS on this at this point. And you have to realize what I've watched, and trust me, regardless of playing the game or not, I covered a lot of Gran Turismo. And I gave it gripes because it annoys you at the beginning of the game. And I've watched many people get annoyed. You know what I mean? Like the cafe stuff, this and that. You know what I mean? I haven't played it, but I've seen just many people get annoyed. I don't see this annoyance here. I see a lot of fanboy talk at this point. And you could go on Twitter or not. Like you got Dustin taking flack, and then now he's like doubling down and like kind of, you know, I don't know if he's losing subs or something. I don't know, but like there's like little nuances he's throwing out there, and I'm like, I don't know what to believe anymore. And that's where you go and say, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about you're fearful for Sony, and you know we got to bring up a game that came out how many years ago? I don't see this happen half the time. Unless it's a bunch of fanboy talk. You know what I mean? Like half the time we just want to play the game. But I mean, at the same time, we're looking at the score and you're like, you know, just from what Fuzzy said alone, what are we talking about here? You know what I mean? And that's where I say, like, people are bringing up fidelity. I'm like, I could look on my phone on both games, go back to tweets from years ago. We're talking about a launch here. We're not talking about the improvements, like Fuzzy said. So I don't understand it. I mean, and shouldn't it be like instead of negative 1.5, it should be plus 1.5 because it's in Game Pass? You know what I mean? Only got to spend the $15. Like these are the things I'm like, you know, you're gonna have people play this game because it's getting hate now. Which this is what I'm talking about. This is the effect that's going to happen. It's like, can we believe these scores anymore? Can we believe these reviews? Can we even look at them and say, you know, how long have you played these? Metacritic needs to overhaul its system. And until it does, you can't look at these reviews and take them completely seriously. And I'm talking about the hundreds too. You know what I mean? Like I could tell you right now, there's probably not one game on this planet that I would give a 10 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the things that I don't get it. You know, I don't get that, you know, these people get paid to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and clearly it seems at certain points they get paid by, you know, one platform or the other. And it's just like, why do we continue down this rabbit hole of of just, some people are just like, dude, I'm done. And that's not helping these gaming journalists either, that people just say, you know what, I'm going to go to ACG, I'm going to go to Boom, I'm going to go to Fuzzy, and I'm going to take their word for it. I mean, I don't feel like they understand what's happening. And it's going to get worse and worse as you bash one platform. And if they switch when Xbox gets a lead, it's going to be the same effect. You know what I mean? This is where we're like, dude, we're done. Like I've seen so many people in the past few days block IGN. It's like, dude, you're just going to give every Xbox game an 8? Like, come
it's
on.
funny you even say that, because before you even got in here, Dreadpool was saying that the missus was like, wait a second, all I'm seeing on my timeline is I blocked IGN. Like it's becoming a thing because you should block them. They're garbage. Now, I'm not saying every writer is their garbage, but listen, we know who butters their bread. I'm sorry. It is a fact. We have it on actual confirmed fact that 40% of their ad read comes the way of PlayStation monies. So of course they're going to toe the line.
Yeah,
I get it's a business, but you gotta call it straight down the line. And this is where I hope Microsoft sees this and starts taking away. I'm sorry. I think they need to pull back from doing anything with IGN. Instead of them calling IGN or even taking their calls, maybe they need to let it go to voicemail for a bit.
Yeah, or use the same stuff you're giving them and give it to, kind of funny or somebody that's at least like much more, much less
Fair.
biased than that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like at least giving some fairness to it. And at this point, you got to look at it and say, if the ABK thing wasn't happening and this and that, from what I've seen from past Forza Motorsports and what they have with this one, wouldn't this be a 9? I mean, really? You know what I mean? Is it, like Horizon? It's at Horizon's level from what I've seen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's very confusing. And that's where I say, find the player, the reviewer that you appreciate, they're going to be fair with you. And if that's what you need, or just, spend the $15, play for a month, drop the subscription, because it's not that hard on Xbox to do that if you want to do that, and give it a shot. And that's really all I could say about it.
Listen, look, at the end of the day, you have your opinion. I'm just reading a chat message here. It's a little strange to me. It says, "Thank you for the welcome, Baldy." Which I'm not really bald. I have a mohawk. You must be hungry for subs to welcome each new guy. Well, I'll tell you what. You could F off because now you're banned. And secondly, I always welcome in everybody. Not everyone does that. I've never heard anyone actually critique someone for welcoming someone here. Like, to me, that's standard fare with me. I've been doing this for 6 years, dude. But you know what you can do? You can go fuck yourself. Sorry for the F-bomb, but I'm not going to stand for it. And of course you called me Baldy. I mean, okay. I mean, did that make your day? Do you feel like a hero? Or can you go on with life?
Just another bully trying to make themselves feel better. That's it. So,
hey, listen, you know what? Everyone is welcome here. Again, I'm perplexed, folks. I'm honestly, that's why I was a little bit taken aback. Like, is he insulting me? Sure. And for welcoming in people, okay, you must be a real asshole in life.
Yeah, they
that you have
definitely
no
should
friends.
be. They are, Boom. They're just total jerk. They're trying to get attention, and
That's fine. It's fine.
You Boom, and I think it's amazing that you actually get to as many people as you can, and you do welcome them genuinely.
I try. I really do, and like, it bothers me when I don't. Right? Like, it really because I want a welcoming. It's a welcoming channel. That to me, that's in my 6-year YouTube career, I have never seen anything like that. Like, I know that you get this firsts in life. That to me is iconic. But listen, I've already cursed twice. I don't like cursing. You guys and gals know that I don't like really doing that. But I want to reel this back in because I really want to keep the conversation going. It was been really good so far. Dave, let's bring you in on the conversation. Look, what you see is running at 1920 by 1080p because that's what this software offers. Okay. And it looks amazing. Imagine if you're playing this on your 55-inch, your 65-inch TV, and you got all the bells and whistles going. It is amazing. And again, I want to talk about your experience with it, but I really want to talk about how this game is logistically being scored lower. And in IGN's own video, they said that this is the best Forza to date, but it gets an 8 out of 10. See, the words don't match with what the score is. And this is where we come into the point where is this game actually being scored lower, a point lower, because that's just the tax, the Xbox tax. Nobody wants to admit that is out there. Let's get your hot take.
It clearly is a tax. This game is beautiful. It looks amazing. People's opinions that I value, like Fuzzy's, extremely on this because he knows racing in real life. He knows about cars in real life, and he really puts his heart into this, to playing these games, because he loves them. They're his, they're his games. You know what I mean? They're when to me, and I love you, Fuzz. I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm just saying, to me, it's like, when you think racing games, the first name that pops in my head is Fuzzy Belvedere and Dealer Gaming. That's probably two of the biggest racing fanatics that I know, and Dealer's really into tuning and stuff like that, and he gets it. I'm a car guy. I love cars. In fact, I'm getting ready to buy a new car pretty soon, but we'll talk about that later. But it's so yeah, this game looks amazing, and if you can't see it, then you're definitely in denial, or you're, for some reason, especially the ones that say that Gran Turismo 7 is leaps and bounds above this. I don't know what you're playing, or you clearly are trying to defend or prop up the PlayStation because the PlayStation's against the ropes, and that's just all there is to it. And it's clear. I mean, I have absolutely zero respect for somebody that trashes a game like this when they clearly do not. There's nothing but bias in their heart. You can tell. It's a shame, really. Because I know the team worked incredibly hard on this. You got to meet a lot of their team when you got to go to a private play session, Boom. And I think that's, the things that, like they did that for you and have you in, and other content creators that were in the local area. I think that's fantastic because they have so much confidence in their game, to put that out there. And to me, the confidence in the quality is showing on screen, like right now. I mean, 4K on this game, just there, it's hard to find a better looking game, and you can.
It's running at 4K 60 at the recommended specs. Now, if you want ray tracing, like Fuzzy was mentioning, it's available for you. You're going to play it at 60 frames with ray tracing. I don't use the ray tracing. I've seen it. I've used it.
Mm-hmm.
I see what they're putting down. And if you want to, there's a third visual mode that drops it, gives you super high visuals, but drops it down to 30. That's not for me. I'm more of a 60 FPS kind of guy when it comes to racing. So I keep it at the recommended specs, but at least there's a choice there for you. If I'm just saying that they give you a lot of choice. And the most appealing thing is they somehow figured out, and you said you used the words carrot on a stick, because literally that's exactly what ACG said. He said when it comes to leveling up the cars, there is a bit of a carrot on the stick that makes you say, man, I want to continue to level up this car. Or when you go to level up a new car, let's say, for instance, in some races, they make you buy a car if you don't have one that is comparable in your garage. And you're like, oh, man, I got to start from one again. But there's something about starting from one, because no matter what you do, it's a driving sim. All you do is drive. You keep getting experience points. You make these turns, you get experience points. You win a race, you get experience points. You do, and that's the other thing. I put this out there in the video. don't skip the practices.
Yeah,
Because
that was a
when
good
you
point.
do, you are shortchanging. Because I was skipping them. I'm like, I did a lap and I'm like, oh my God, I want to get to the race. But what I
Yeah.
didn't realize, I was like, why isn't my character leveling up? Because you're literally forfeiting all of that XP for both your car and your character. So, word of advice, do the 3 laps, finish it, and you'll see the car starting to upgrade. You'll keep getting upgrades during and of course you get to learn the track, which is even better. But Dave, please continue.
The last thing I was going to wrap it up, I was going to say that I really enjoyed your live review that you did yesterday. I
Thank
thought it
you.
was
Thank
really
you.
awesome. And, I loved your score too. I think your score is spot on. So yeah, it was really good. And if anybody hasn't seen it, it's available on Boom's channel right now. So when you
Yes.
get done with this show today, go back and watch it. It's a really good review. He covers everything, and you can tell he really enjoyed it, and it shows. So boom.
I mean, thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it. Like I said, I normally don't do reviews. I have the ability to do them. I've just not what this channel's about.
It's
But
from the heart,
again,
Boom. That's what matters.
yeah, I mean, listen, again, for me to get excited about this game, you can really, I don't think you can. Well, I guess you can fake excitement. I guess there's a lot of people out there that do that. You can see it in the review. You can see the way I talk about the game. It's all I want to play. And like I said, I have Assassin's Creed, which I'm playing, which is so good. I got to finish Starfield. I'm right at the end, but I don't really want to finish it. It's too much. There's literally too much. We got Alan Wake, the new Resident Evil DLC. Oh my God, I haven't even played that. It's too much. But I guess that's a good problem. Dread, let's continue this conversation. I want to get your hot take on this. We've heard from Crispy Bomb, we've heard from Fuzzy, we've heard from Dave. You heard what I had to say. Is there an unfair disadvantage in the gaming media? I mean, are we making this up? Are we all living the same fever dream, or is this an actual reality? And what are your thoughts on Forza?
I am Neo. I have woken up. So think about this, right? It's either a conspiracy theory or, as some conspiracy theories tend to happen, become true. So even if this was a conspiracy theory, it is more evident that it is true that the media is biased. The same thing here, right? You did your review. I don't care about your score. We all know that. We know I don't care about the scores. You know,
I know whether or not it's a game you should play.
Exactly. And that is the key factor. You had fun playing it. You got sucked in. That alone is what gets me to understand and want to play this game. Okay. Granted, I'd already wanted to play this game regardless. I'm a Forza fan from the get-go. Doesn't matter. But that review, the fact that you're excited about it, perfect. That's all I needed, right? When it comes to Fuzzy talking about these games, of course I trust him. I used to drag race my car, so I used to do all this stuff too. I was getting into solo before I ended up parking the car, so I was gonna do more stuff with my car, and instead of making it a singular purpose built car, it's a daily driver on top of that. So I wanted it to do more, So I was already keyed into this stuff. And when it comes to Forza and Gran Turismo, I used to love Gran Turismo back in the day when it was the only simulation racer, right? But now it's not the only simulation racer. Now we have competition, and that's what we've wanted, right? I mean, I could never beat Gran Turismo. Some of the stuff, and we didn't have wheels. We had left direction or right direction, and you had the tap 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 or tap 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 the other way. You know what I mean? So you're trying to do that. Some people were actually very proficient at it. Some of us were not. But that being said, this game looks beautiful. I've seen people meticulously call colors out for, this is the same stock color, and this is look how horrible it looks. I'm like, well, yeah, you're in post processing on Gran Turismo 7 or on Forza. It looks like you turned down all the graphics, all the details. I don't see any ray tracing. The color is bland. You know what I mean? So even with all that, you're manipulating your narrative, right?
This is where the disingenuous takes
Correct.
that have flooded the social media come from. Exactly
And
what you're talking about.
how many
Yeah.
times we've done this and said this, you know, when they do these comparisons, and it happens on the Xbox side too, right? So I'm not calling out the fact that these guys are ponies and this and that. I don't care. The fact of they are also practicing deceptive practices, right? They are also participating in this. And again, it's on both sides. Just play the game, enjoy it. And if you don't, this is not your game, because a lot of these people that are talking crap about this game don't even care to play this in the first place. All it is a console narrative for them to talk and how much superior they are. Neither one is superior. Each one needs to get better. Yes, this was better, the best version that they've created so far. But guess what? In 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, will this still be the best version? For the time that it was out, yes. For the time that we go into, no. There will be another better game. There will be another Gran Turismo that'll be better. There will be another Forza that'll be better. Excuse me, pardon me. So that being said, why is this such a big deal to people? I still don't understand. If it's your thing, cool. You know, this is for me. This gets the dread. Yeah, man, nah. It's the yeah. It gets the dread approval. You know, I'm going to find Axel and Doggy Dog, and we are going to go race with Back from the Dead, and I'm going to do my classic. I'm gonna slide off of your door and get the advantage because you're going to be my buffer to keep me from slowing down, and I can just keep on flooring it. I mean, that's the way I play. You know, we all know that, and that's part of the joke of me running people off the road. I don't run them off the road. I run my
Don't feel
lines.
bad. I get to say people are like, my God, Boom, your driving car is incredibly aggressive. I'm like, well, I mean, such is life. What can I tell
You know, we're you know, you can do this. We're aggressive, right? And what did that driver say? Oh, I played this in the video game, so I figured I might as well do it in real life. And what do you do? Zzz, down the wall and popped off 4 places faster, sooner, earlier, ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's, you know, again, that's, you know,
it's NASCAR.
yeah, you know.
That's pretty much NASCAR. Indeed, it is.
His arm kept on getting, you know, his left arm was tired of pulling, so it just, you know, he decided to cruise control it around the wall. But that's the beauty, right? We're talking about games. We're talking about the stuff we liked, right? You talked about practice. You know, practice. I wasn't getting my experience because I wasn't practicing. But guess what? You were also what? Oh, I never tuned these cars. I always just played them as is. But now it got me locked in. I was changing rims. I was changing this. I
Yep.
was right. And this is from a player that does not do this. This is what we should be talking about. Stuff like this,
Indeed.
the experiences that we're having, the unbelievable, I don't know, enjoyment of the game versus trying to manipulate how bad games are, right? And that's the negativity of the community, where here the negativity is pushing that away, like the other dipshit that was here talking about welcoming, right? What do? I literally try to welcome each and every single one of you guys.
Yeah,
Even
you
when
do.
I do that, even though Boom's doing it anyway. I try to do that to every chat that I'm in. I try to make sure everybody knows that they're more than welcome to come in, no matter what their backgrounds are, no matter what their opinions are. You know, I still welcome the moron, but again, it is, you know, being polite.
He has a very small circle in life. He's
Yeah,
probably a very lonely person, so
and being
he lashes out. That's what they do. So you know what, brother? If you're still listening, because you probably are, because you punish yourself, and you listen to things that you don't want to listen to, which isn't the inherent problem. I'm going to make this quick suggestion: go sit on the couch. Go grab somebody, sit on the couch, tell your problems, because you got them. You exposed yourself in a really bad way. Again, folks, I'm here to tell you, I'm doing this for 6 years, and I've gotten some wacky comments. That one, like, literally stopped me. Like, my mind stopped in its tracks because I'm like, am I reading correctly? But it's fine. Go
no,
speak. My professional advice. You're angry, you're alone, you're lonely. Figure it out. Go there, you can go sit down on the couch and talk to somebody because you definitely need to. All jokes aside, you got to sit down and hash this out because you got problems. But
See, and that's
Dredd,
the
I'll let you
thing.
continue. We're gonna move
Yeah,
on to in a second.
yeah. That's the thing is we should be um, promoting, experiencing, um, enjoying. Talk.
Yes.
The
The fun of gaming, the whole point of picking up a controller, at least how I was always raised, is that this is supposed to be fun.
yes, and this is a hobby, right? Even if it's your work, I'm not telling you what you're supposed to do, but it's a hobby. You should be enjoying the hobby, and I'm sure some people are enjoying the hobby of trolling, and that's fine. That's fine, but don't mislead those that are not as informed, and that's why we are trying to be informative about these games, so that way, again, if you're not a racer, cool, you don't have to listen to this part of it. You can just sit back, and in the next 5 minutes we'll be moving on to the next topic. That's fine. You want to join the conversation in the chat, that's the beauty of all this. We are all in this together, in this world, in this hobby, so it's not just gaming, it's everything in life. And what I look at it is, I love you guys in the chat, I love you guys in the panel, I love
Mhm.
gaming. My wife is experiencing this part of podcasting too. She's doing her own thing, and she's intermingling with us too, because she is a gamer, and seeing all of this negativity too. And she's like, what's up with this? Like, I've never seen my Twitter blow up like this before. And I was like, yeah, that's welcome to Twitter. And that's the thing is, again, she's starting to learn some new stuff, and this is the whole thing, right? We have new people coming into the hobby, we have children coming in, right? They are coming in. As we go out, we need to set it up for the next people. And
Yes.
this game is set up for the next person, right? What happened with the last Forza? My daughter was playing it with me, right? We had the whole split screen convo before. She was playing with me, right? She was what, 4 or 5 years old, and she was doing very well. Granted, I gave her all um,
The
uh, the
assists.
assists and all
Yeah,
that,
there's
right?
nothing wrong with that.
But she was excelling and she was enjoying it. She wanted to play with daddy,
Yeah,
right? And
well,
that's
that's the whole
that's the
point of gaming
experience we should be
also.
doing.
Yep.
This whole name calling and oh, you're bald, okay, whatever. But you see what I'm saying with all that? No, this is a good game. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a great game, even more so when more stuff comes out. Trust Fuzzy, trust Web, trust Boom, trust Crispy. Don't trust me if you don't want to. I don't care. Not a big deal. But we have good intentions, and this game has good intentions, and that's the thing. Gran Turismo, they lied to you. So when Sony has deceptive practices, who are you guys going to trust? Just saying.
No, I mean, listen, it's great points all around. And again, apologies for the cursing, because I normally don't like to do that, but yeah, that sometimes things get under your skin. But look, I want to catch up on the super chats. We got 10 of them. We actually have 9 and a channel member. I want to read their chat. And then we're going to get into is PlayStation burning from the inside, and can they contain the Firestorm? I don't think that they can. Again, they're not going anywhere, but I see third place in their future because they just, and we got a new report today from Hazardor Gaming, which when don't we get information from him that Sony Santa Monica is currently at work at what's being considered DLC like for God of War. I think what you're going to start seeing with PlayStation is they're going to Spider-Man-ify all of their first party stuff because they cannot keep up. They don't have a lot in the pipeline. And I will say, people are like, well, Boom, you don't really know because they didn't say. But see, that's the mark right there. Sony loves flaunting what they have in their pants. When they don't, well, that's because they don't have anything in their pants. And that's the same thing I'm going to equate it to. They don't have anything ready for first party, and they might not have anything ready for the next 2 to 3 years, because guess what? Game development is very, very difficult. And we know from speaking with actual developers that game development went from 3 to 5 years to 5 to 7. And let's call a spade a spade. Sony's games are like movies. Now, whether you like it or you don't, I love it. That's why I have a PlayStation 5. These games are bombastic. They're large in scale. They're $200 million experiences. They're going to take long to develop for. So expect a lot of, DLC-esque games. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. Anything you got, God of War Ragnarok is a masterclass achievement. I'm sorry, it just is. Right?
Yep.
But the next game isn't going to be as stout, if you will, as what God of War. God of War 2018 was polarizing because it was so big, and it was so great, and it was so much fun. And it was so not like the last God of War. You're not going to get experience like that anymore. You're just not, because they don't have the studios, size to do it. We're going to get into it in a second.
Hey,
Let me
Boom.
start off. Yes, sir.
Let me interrupt you real quick.
Yes.
Check the private chat. Emperor Sofa King has gifted
Wow.
total of 12 now.
Wow. First of all, Sofa King, God Emperor Sofa King, thank you so much for being here, as you always are. Folks, he has gifted not 6, but 12, a dozen channel memberships for Double Barrel Gaming. That is ridiculously generous of you, brother. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And of course, we take this and we put it back right into the channel. As last Friday, we gave away $500. In 2 Fridays, or it's the first Friday in November, we're giving another with $500 away. And of course, I'll say this at the end of the show, but now we're talking about it. Mrs. Boom and I will be giving away in 2 hours the most money we've ever given away. A total of $1,500 on our 6th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And all you got to do to win is be in the chat. And of course, the first half of all prizes always go to channel membership members. So if you're a channel member for over 30 days, you get an extra entry. You drop a super chat, you get an extra entry. And well, that's how the winners are picked through a picker. Now, thanks to StreamYards, who of course we use theirs directly, and we incorporate it into the chat. But let me just get some more footage in here before we get into the rest of the super chats, because this one was only an hour. So let me just bring up some other footage. Just give me 1 second, because I'm trying to record footage all at the same time, and I'm just going to bring in some Starfield, because why not? I'll bring some Starfield in, and you guys and gals can check out that here. Hopefully it's running good. All right, so let me get back to the super chats. And again, once again, Sofa King, thank you for the outstanding generosity. The first super chat today comes away of JFX88. And he drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, let's be clear. The Xbox tax is real. They don't want Xbox to have 90-plus meta games in one of their best years to save PlayStation's image. And he's not wrong. And that's exactly what's happening. They are capping for PlayStation because, PlayStation pays for a lot of the ad marketing for these IGNs and Kotakus and GameSpots and PC Mags. They're all padded with PlayStation money, and in doing so, they're not going to move against PlayStation because their funding will dry up, and they are afraid of content creators like us, because we're sucking the air out of the room, because nobody wants to listen to their BS. And people are tuning in, which is why I even became a podcaster in the first place, is because I was tired of what the IGNs and the Kotakus and the GameSpots were saying, because I was like, I don't agree with that. I think that they're wrong. And 6 years later, here we are. Tom from Tanami, generous friend of the program, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Xbox should withhold Call of Duty from these sites and then see if they want to use that Xbox tax. And that's the other thing. You wait. You just wait. Now, whether that's going to be this year, and I still am reserved that we're going to get Call of Duty and Xbox Game Pass this year. Could I be wrong? 1,000%. More than likely, even. But if they can, because obviously the deal is going to close Friday the 13th of next week, we'll be covering it live here when that happens. Expect the same Xbox tax to hit Call of Duty. No matter how it looks, no matter how it plays, it is going to get Xbox taxified. I am telling you, moving forward, just watch the room. Read the room, folks. You're going to see, as long as Sony isn't competing with first-party games and they need the help of the media for the crutch, you're going to see that Xbox games, regardless of whether or not they look great, regardless of whether they're day and date in the Xbox Game Pass, regardless of their record-breaking numbers playing the game, it is not going to matter. The 1.5 deduction on all Xbox first-party games is real, and you're going to start seeing it. And you're like, there is a pattern here, Boom. You called it. Now I'm calling it. You'll see. The Ancient One drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, the media will do whatever they can to make PlayStation look like they got a W. Yes. They're still mad Jimmy Boy carried the torch for a hot minute and then threw that bitch on a pile of dirty clothes on his way out. Oh, my goodness. And that's why they're burning from the inside. Juan, who was a new channel member from yesterday, Juan, thank you so much. He drops, folks, an outrageous $20 super chat and says, even without comparing the game to Gran Turismo, this is the best motorsport of the series, but it is the lowest scored for some reason. Media bias is more than confirmed at this point. It is not a conspiracy anymore. And that's great. And that's Fuzzy, when you look at this game compared to 7, with most people did not like Gran Turismo 7. I mean, Forza Motorsport 7. That's a fact. And this is actually scored lower. It is bananas to me. But we will continue. We will continue with this conversation.
Got another new member too, Boom.
Oh, okay, awesome. Jacob Novick drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, bought Mirage on both Xbox Series S and PlayStation 5. Bought the FM add-on pack. Pre-ordered Spider-Man 2. Played a bit of Dark Tide, which is supposed to be really good. Still is not done playing Starfield. I bought MK1. I bought it also, and I didn't play it, which is disgraceful. But haven't had the time, etc. Too many games. Yeah, it's definitely a problem. Like I don't even like. There's actually real world problems: hunger, too much taxes, people are losing their jobs to game developers. That's a really big one. I mean, like as record breaking for games as this is, the most scary aspect of it is how many actual developers have lost their jobs. And I think that really should be the tip of the spear when we're talking, because I'm hoping that you see a place like Microsoft really open their door, because they're going to be expanding all these studios, and that they welcome in the talent that has unfortunately been laid off, like from a Naughty Dog. Like Naughty Dog laid off a lot of people. And that's because the multiplayer was canned, and they were probably working on that. So let's hope that all of these developers who in fact have lost their jobs do find welcoming new jobs into a lot of what Microsoft is going to be doing, because once this ABK deal is done, they're going to be moving full steam into bringing potentially back older IPs, Hexen being one of them. I would imagine StarCraft is going to come back in a big way. That's going to be a huge moneymaker, especially in Asia. I'm hoping that they do bring in a lot of this talent that has been laid off, because, of course, being out of work is, I mean, you make fun of that, you're a D-bag. You should not be cheering this on, because people have to pay their rents. People have to feed their families. Let's look at it from an adult's point of view. Thank you for the shot, the generosity, Jacob, as always. Mr. Nichols drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, media outlets straight hating on Forza and all Xbox games. Xbox can upgrade and improve all their games. Sony can't, because there is no online component. Yeah, and that's what they tried to do. I think ultimately the way it looks like, when Jim Bryan came out and said we have 12 games as a service in development, he almost thought, at least I thought, that it was going to be a kind of, hey, we're going to throw a lot of stuff at the wall, whatever sticks, we're going to go with. What they should have did is they should have taken two of their main franchises and thrown a bunch of money, and they really should have. Factions should be out. Faction should have been priority. Unfortunately, it wasn't. The other one, and I've said this, I think, on a dozen or more shows, they really should have looked at the room and said, okay, we're not going to take these 12 games. We're going to take 2. And we're going to throw a bunch of money into factions because the people really want this multiplayer game. We can make it a successful games as a service. Let's throw a bunch of money at it. But what they should have done is they should have said, okay, what other franchise will get people excited? What can we bring back? Which Sony is known to do. And that is SOCOM. SOCOM, with a lot of money and a lot of tenacious development behind it, they could have really given Call of Duty a run for their money. It would have been their own Call of Duty-esque gas game, even though Call of Duty is going to exist on PlayStation. Of course it is. It's the platform that plays the most. But if they would have announced a SOCOM successor in development, people would have been excited. It would have been a Year of Dreams 2016 type of announcement. Unfortunately, well, it's not. Tom from Toonami drops a very generous additional $2 super chat and says, The Last of Us 2 being remastered, WTF is PlayStation doing? Yes, that is the big announcement. The Last of Us 2 getting a PlayStation 5 version. I don't get it, folks. Something's not right at PlayStation. We're going to get into that momentarily. Silent Cypher, who potentially will be back here with us next week, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, IGN is a subsidiary of Ziff Davis, home of PlayStation Magazine. That aside, the behavior of the majority of the reviewers and creators is skewed. Indeed, it is. Dusty, good friend of the program, who's been a channel member for 1 year. Dusty, thank you so much for the generosity. He says, happy Friday, gentlemen, and chat. Forza is goated. Starfield is goated. IGN is PGN, PlayStation Gaming Network. I love it. That's great. Dan the Man Cunningham. What's going on, Dan? How the heck are you? He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, don't apologize, Boom. A lot more people need to be told to F off. Yeah, I don't like doing it. I listen, it is what it is. Like it, folks, I'm a human being. An F-bomb comes out every now and again. That comment really got under my skin. Shame on me for not having the thicker skin. I was a cop. You guys know that for 20 plus years. And I've been told some heinous things. And I laughed most of the time. That particular comment was, I'm going to tell you this. In my history as a content creator, I have never been more shocked than what I saw of someone actually complaining that I'm welcoming in people. Like, I've never heard of that before. That to me is madness. That's why that person needs to sit on a couch with somebody, because they are angry. And I didn't do it. Don't blame me. I don't know what was, you know what I'm saying? I didn't, tell them, tell someone your problems, because that's what you need to do. But with that said,
hey,
let's
Boom,
continue. Yes,
before
sir.
Before you get going again, I'm sorry. You have
wow.
You have 2 new members, and then you have another gentleman that gifted 20 memberships. So
Oh my
in the
goodness!
private
Let me
chat.
go into the chat.
Yeah.
Juan, who is a new channel member, he joined the other day. He dropped a very generous $20 super chat, and now, folks, he has gifted 20 double barrel gaming membership. Dude, that's just crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know what to say other than thank you for the support, because that's just madness. And we appreciate it here. Again, this is a mom and pop kind of an organization. We started with zero know-how on how to produce a show, and somehow or another we are doing this 5 days a week. We have our own network, and again, we cannot do the advancements I needed a new PC. I accidentally broke my. Who breaks a PC? Well, I did. I figured out how to break a PC, which I did. Again, we cannot move forward, especially when it comes to the big giveaways. And I'm not putting us on a pedestal here, but I don't think I've ever heard someone who's again a podcaster, not like a IGN or a GameSpot, give away $1,500 in 2 hours. Like, I've never heard of that. And that's Mrs. Boom. Like, last year we did $1,000 and she was like, I think we could do better. And you know why she wanted to do better? She wanted to give more because this year is harder for people. She says people are struggling and we want to be able to give a little extra because we're blessed. That's all on her. Now, I mean, she runs all the contests. That's what she does behind the scenes. So, Juan, thank you for the outstanding generosity. That is just outrageous. We also have Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Mr. BoomStick XL is always welcoming people to his show. And like other Xbox shows, we do not attack PlayStation players or insult them. AI, we talk AI is gaming. Yeah, I mean, I don't attack PlayStation. I give them the smoke because right now they deserve it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to defend PlayStation. They're in a tailspin. And again, we will get to it in a second. I have a lot to say about that. Marcus Hobby. First of all, Marcus, welcome to the program and thank you for becoming a channel member. That is very kind of you. Gerald Mack, who's been a channel member for 2 years, brother. Thank you for that. Shout out to the Graybeard, as he's known. And Doc50 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Can Sony afford to make $200 million games anymore?" I don't know. I mean, it's a big undertaking. It is definitely $200 million games. They need to figure out how to back end that. They can make the games. They have the money. They're not poor, right? They're the platform. They're the market leader, and not even by a little bit, by like leaps and bounds. But they have to figure out how to make money on these single player games. And I think that Microsoft's success with the gas games will, and that's the thing. Sony tried to implement, Jim Ryan tried to implement that. I think they went about it the wrong way. Again, 12 gas games in development is just not the answer. Microsoft has been clowned for years. How many people pointed the finger at Microsoft for Sea of Thieves? Look at this is ridiculous. It's got no content. It's garbage. Rare. What a waste of an acquisition. But look at it now. I mean, look how much money they're making off of that game. And when you consider, and this now we're going to move into, is PlayStation burning? And I'm going to tell you, yes, they are. Because let me paint you a picture. Okay, I'm not a financial analyst. I'm a knucklehead podcaster, right? But I know common sense business. So just for shits and giggles, let's look at the two platforms. Microsoft, they have Sea of Thieves, they have Grounded, they have Halo, they have Minecraft, 140 million concurrent players per month. They have Minecraft Dungeons, right? They have Fallout 76. They have ESO, right? That's just 7 of them that are gas game related. I know I'm missing somebody in there. But now let's talk about Activision Blizzard King. You got Diablo 4, gas game. You got Call of Duty, their online, their free to play version, right? That's just 2. That's just 2. But when you add something else in there, like, I don't know, Candy Crush had only made $20 billion since inception, and you put all of these things together, they're just going to print money. So what are they going to do? Well, they're going to make other acquisitions. They're going to acquire studios. They're going to acquire IP. They're going to acquire potential publishers. All the while making all of these single player games that are going to drop day and date in their service that just went up $2, which is still cheaper, way cheaper than Sony's recently $40 price increase for a service that gives you a day-and-date game once in a blue moon. So when you compare it to what Sony is trying to do, and Jimbo is out, and the fact that Sony proper Hideki Totoki is actually now running the SIE ship, that should tell you that Sony is in a pickle and they are in trouble. I want to go first to Crispy Bomb because he's probably going to be the scandalous of all of us here. Is PlayStation burning from within?
Can we start with did Jim Ryan really retire?
No, he was fired, dude. There's no doubt about it.
You know, because if you look at what has transpired, you know, factions, and I mean, there's a heck of a list that our brother Dirt Griggity threw out there, and you could just go look at that because yeah, it's all true. He was definitely ousted. You're seeing Sony repivot back to their single player aspect, which is wrong. It's like literally, I said this the other day. They're going one way and then going the other, and they think that it's correct when they can't find that level playing field. Their problem is that everybody clowned Microsoft for years, and they are just ahead of their time, and they stuck with it for once. This is the one thing they stuck with. They, got rid of Mixer, even though I think that would be more prevalent than ever right now. They, decided to invest in the content creators rather than, the actual platform itself. I digress. I think it would be pretty popular at this point because there's been many times where people were looking for an out from Twitch. There are numerous things. I mean, even, the Windows Phone and stuff like Microsoft is known to just be like, nah, we're done. The one thing they stuck with is the old formula of having a bunch of games that were single player, multiplayer. And now they found this happy medium where, even some games, you don't know if they're single player or multiplayer, but all you know is that you could play either way. And then they add things. Yeah, you could buy it. You could take more time and earn it. They have found a formula that Sony apparently just can't find. I mean, even, as of now, like, what are they going to do? They're going to rely on Bungie to, figure everything out. I mean, they already rely on Insomniac enough just to bring out games in general. What are they doing? They need to lay off a bunch of people at Naughty Dog? Like, what are we doing here? Then you say, Santa Monica. I thought this was I thought all I heard was Ragnarok. That's it. I didn't hear. I thought they said they weren't doing anything else with it. So what? Now you're going to bring out either a DLC-esque next game or whatever?
Let me read you literally verbatim of what was posted by Hazardor Gaming. And again, like Hazardor Gaming, as he does. Where is it? I just favored it. Oh my god! Let me find it because he literally just posted this.
Yeah, it just happened.
Okay, Hazardor Gaming. Here it is. Where are you with this? Okay, here it goes. Sony Santa Monica Studio is reportedly working on a new God of War content, which may include DLC for God of War Ragnarok or even a half sequel. Which again, Miles Morales, what an amazing game! Literally made me cry like a baby in the first effing 10 minutes of that game. Because, like I said, it's a personal thing. Loved it from start to finish. I am one freaking trophy away from the platinum. Absolutely adored it. But a lot of people consider it to be DLC. It looks, and I said this before, Crispy, it looks like their answer is to DLCify all of their first party because they just don't have anything in place that's bombastic as a Starfield. And we're seeing it. We're literally, this is why they're burning from the inside.
And that's like literally the exact point is that, once again, like, so why not actually complete Factions 2? Why not do that? Or why not, have figured out the 3 years ago when you announced it, how to get it out when you're to justify The Last of Us 2 remake? Like, at least if you have that added on to it, people would be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But they don't know what they're doing. Like, they plan on releasing it completely separate from everything. This is where you go and say cash grab. Probably. I mean, if you're going to come out with another remake after, I mean, this game should be able to just port right over and have all the fidelity. We experience this all the time on Xbox. If anything came from Xbox One, it looks pretty darn good. They don't need to release a remake. You know, we talk about games that came out on the 360 and stuff. Hey, that could use a remake. You know what I mean? So these are the things that, you know, Microsoft is going to pull out games at some point that are going to be remade, that are going to come from a generation before the last one. You know, they're going to go 2 generations out. Even maybe you see at some point, if they still have the license of Xbox games that were popular, they're going to remake it in some way, shape, or form. But, you know, Sony's just like, hey, this game's fresh in people's minds. This is the way to go. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why do they do this to themselves? Like, I just don't get it. Like, why do you let SOCOM die? Why do you let Resistance die? Like, these are games that a whole generation hasn't experienced at this point. You got, you know, 10-year-old kids, hey, PlayStation all the way. And then they don't even know what we're talking about when we say SOCOM or something like that. Like, when I was that age, that game was like impeccable. They were so far ahead of their time if they just kept going with just bringing out some single player, multiplayer games and rode through this one point in time where, hey, yeah, you can bring single player. This is what you're seeing from Microsoft. They are funding their single player games like Hellblade 2 and stuff like that by having these gas games there that have tens of millions of players concurrently, you know, through a whole month span. They keep coming back. They keep bringing out small DLCs, you know, that cost, you know, a minimal $20 to $40. You know what I'm saying? This is the same formula that a company like NetherRealm and WB has used.
Yep.
And this is where, like, MK is their bread and butter, because they come out with these character DLC packs. Now, I haven't bought it. I have enough games right now. I love MK, but at the same time, I know they're going to come out with some great combat pack, and I'm going to get 10 characters for the price of the game. You know what I'm saying? Because they've done this before, but that's just bringing people back in to do more in the game, to want more characters. This is the whole point of a games as a service game. There are different formulas to do it. And the one thing Microsoft has that Sony doesn't is they have a wide variety of ways they do it. And if they are getting too crazy with it, the feedback, they actually take it into consideration and change the way they're doing that games as a service model within the game. I experienced it on Gears 5, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I mean, listen, this is folks, what I'm about to read to you is not breaking news. And it comes away once again of Hazador Gaming, because, well, what doesn't he do? Guys, he's like a machine. Idle Sloth is, again, another one you should be following. Idle is just another, Idle's out there putting out, dropping the bricks. It has been confirmed, folks, that The Last of Us 2 remake is their next big release. That is coming in hot off the presses. Joe Miller of Twitter breaking: The Last of Us 2 Part 2 Remastered has basically been confirmed for PlayStation 5 as one of their next big release. And this comes the way of Naughty Dog's actually own employee. This comes the way of a LinkedIn lead outsource artist. He's full-time at Naughty Dog. He was hired in January of 2021 to present 2 years, 10 months, responsible for always overseeing the production of all outsourced environment art assets, weapons, and interactive props for 2 iconic titles. One of them are The Last of Us Part 1, which is already out, and The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. So when people say, Dreadpool, that this is PlayStation become the remaster station, I'm not really all about that life when it comes to poking fun, but I think they're onto something, Dread. And this is another I guess piece of evidence, if you will, that PlayStation just does not know what to do next. They figured, well, you know what? We've already sold you The Last of Us Part 2 on the PS4. And instead of offering you a free upgrade, as you see on Xbox through smart delivery, they're going to package it and sell you a double pack of The Last of Us 1 remastered plus The Last of Us 2 remastered, or sell it to you for $76.43, which it is here in New York after taxes. Or I don't even know if they're going to offer you a $10 upgrade fee. They may, but we don't have that on confirmation. What is PlayStation burning from the inside?
Halo, Gears, Forza. Isn't that what we heard for
That's
so
the
many
running
years?
narrative of Xbox. That's all they have. That's
Right?
their only pillars. Correct.
That's the only thing they have. Halo, Gears, Forza. Literally, that's all we heard about, right? But I'm sorry, regurgitation is only going to do this over and over again because that's what's going on. They're regurgitating the remasters. So now it's no longer PlayStation, it's regurgitation. Think about this. How many times we played the same game from PlayStation 3? I'm okay with upgrading it. I'm okay with all the updates. But when you're doing something like this isn't good. I mean, you're playing literally the same game. At least Halo, Gears, Forza was the next iteration of those games. This is the exact same game. And I understand, we can't do BC because, who plays old games? But who plays old games? So we just remaster them? You see the contradiction? Again, deceptive practices. This is not going to bode well for them if they keep doing this. And I understand if this is the easy out because, they're games as a service. I guess roadmap isn't to par to where they should be. And this is what they want to do. Okay. I understand that. But I don't understand why we keep doing this. Why not just leave the PS4 version of it out there, maybe do a couple enhancements and then be done with it. Get some other titles from the PS3, PS2, or even PS1 era. I don't know. Everybody keeps on popping up with SOCOM. I keep on popping up with Siphon Filter. Those games need to be brought back. Why not bring something like that? Right. And this is going to be the detriment to themselves, not only increasing the prices for their services, consoles, games, anything that they can monetize. You want to have your saves online? Oh, wait, you got to do it this way. You just can't have
for
it.
Sony, you actually have to pay for those.
Literally,
Cloud saves you have to pay for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everything's a pay for. What's going to happen? You're eventually going to milk your customer base, your fan base. And unfortunately, these people have not woken up yet that cite that this is the greatest thing ever. They would gladly overspend on a whatever. I bought a washing machine, but yet, $200 washing machine, no problem. I'll spend an extra $3,000 for that same crappy washing machine. Not getting the deluxe model, but I'm going to get the base standard knockoff model, and I'll gladly pay $3,000 for it. Does that make any sense to you? No. Why not make a new IP? If you're going to go with an old IP, bring back an older one from many generations beyond, not the same one that you've been bringing up over and over again. I'm sorry, Last of Us it's just not cutting it. I haven't played it. And yes, I want to play the most advanced version of the game. But for those that have already played it, there's no point. So why not put that money where it really counts in the new IPs, right? Xbox should be going with new IPs. Xbox should be doing this. Xbox should be doing that. Well, guess what? They are. They have. They've invested and stuck with it. Well, they got clowned at the whole time. And yet these clowns can't even look in the mirror. We're you know what I mean? So yeah, they are dying slowly.
Yep.
Slow death. It's basically what is it? Putting a frog in cold water and heating it up slowly. They don't realize that they're cooking. They're doing the same thing here. They are literally doing the same thing, and this is company wide, unfortunately. I don't get it. We want them to do better. We want competition because we don't want Microsoft and Xbox to just sit back on their laurels and going, yeah, we finally won. We're finally, in second place or first place or whatever place they want to be in. Because we've seen what happens when Microsoft has become number one. And granted, Bill Gates is no longer there, and we have Satya in place there, and we have people like Phil in the gaming section. So chances are it won't happen. But oh wait, what happened with Xbox Gold? It doubled in price that one time because somebody went in there thinking they knew what they were doing, and pretty much almost lost their job. If they didn't lose their job, I don't think they're in that position anymore, right? So when you have people like that, they can get in and then think that they can do something. It will happen, right? People are just inherently going to be evil. No matter how nice people seem, they will inherently be evil. And right now, PlayStation is on that edge of being inherently evil, and we want them to compete. We want them to do better. But unfortunately, this is not doing better, giving me the same game over and over. Not even a new rendition of the game, the same game. Sorry, but it is what it is. Regurgitation is a new thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, someone had put in the chat. I'm trying to find it because it was a really good. It was a good point. How come we don't hear about a siphon filter being remade? Like if you want to just remake it, I'll take a remake. Give me a Resident.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a Resident Evil 2 remake leveled siphon filter? I think one of the things that we are missing, especially in this genre, I mean, as in this generation, is the sneaking and the spy genre. The fact that we still don't have a Splinter Cell is freaking bonkers to me, right?
I mean, with the way that Twitter is and the sneakiness that they put out there, you'd think that they would absorb that and love it.
Well, I mean, Emil in the chat says something that we heard many of the PlayStation fans taunting for years. Gears, Halo, Forza, Gears, Halo. That's all you guys got, right? And they're all great franchises. They're all $1 million selling franchises, right? They're pillars of Xbox. Well, he writes here: God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us. God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us. God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us. Again and again and again. And you know what? They're not wrong. They're not wrong because that's exactly what they're putting out. And again, I can't wait for Spider-Man 2. I really am. And someone else said they're going to put 120 hours in. I just saw it. Listen, I think it might have been iMill. Yeah, iMill said he's going to put 120 hours. He ain't wrong. That game is supposed to be what, 30 hours? I think they said. I'm going to easily double that up because I'm going to try and platinum that game. I'm going to try and do and find. Yes, am I going to swing through pigeon farts clouds potentially? But I'm going to try and get that that trophy because I really do like what Insomniac puts down. And what's better than swinging around the city as Spider-Man or, of course, Miles Morales? You get to play as both. That's dope. And if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're going to get a lot of his iconic villains, some that we know, some we don't know. There's going to be a lot of surprises there. I freaking can't wait. I want to bring in. Yeah, no,
that's the beauty of that, right? It's not the same Spider-Man, even though they remade it, but it's Spider-Man 2. They moved on. They're giving a new game, a new experience, a modified play style, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want. That's what we're asking for. What's coming up after this? Oh, that's right. We are getting Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
New experience. This is what we want. We don't want another Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man remake again. We don't want that another one. We don't, you know what I mean? The whole Miles Morales, it's only going to be PS5, but yet, wait, it's PS4 too. You know what I mean? That's the thing we don't want. We don't want these deceptive practices. We want the new games. We want them to push the console. We want them to push gaming.
Oh, are you saying you want generations? Because that's what Jim Ryan said, and well, he's no longer there.
Oh, wait, that's right. Oh, but who plays old games? Never mind. He's a contradicting hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's retiring, right? Right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, listen, everyone has had great points, but I want to bring Fuzzy into the conversation. And shout out to Bear798, who's actually the one that said a new siphon filter would be awesome. One of the first games he's ever played, which is pretty dope. Siphon Filter is an amazing series.
Love that game.
I can't believe we don't have another one. That's crazy to me. And again, just for a second, take off your favorite console platform hat for a second. Take one of Sony's greatest looking first party games. You can make that God of War. You can make that Uncharted 4. You can say Horizon, whichever one you pick. But just equate that level of polish, that level of storytelling, that level of detail in a new siphon filter. Like, to me, that is an absolute no brainer. But obviously, this is why we think that they're burning. So, my question to you simply, Fuzzy, I think everyone has put down a lot of really big logs on this thing, and it's burning out of control. Sony is in a pickle. I'm going to tell you that right now. And Jim Ryan, remember, he did 4 years of damage. Whether you think he's damaged the brand or not, that's have your opinion. He damaged the brand, in my opinion, and he has 4 years of it. Yes, he sold a lot of PlayStation 5s. Yes, they're currently the market leader, but he also embarrassed the company. He also exposed their deceptive practices to regulators around the world. He brought dishonor to Sony, which is why he's fired. And that's why Sony proper is taking over the mantle until they put someone in there that they can control. And it's probably going to be somebody from Sony. It's not going to be, you're not going to see Herman Holtz take over, because if he was going to take over, he would have been named immediately. Let's get your hot take on this. Is PlayStation burning from the inside? And more importantly, how do they contain this firestorm?
It's definitely something going on the inside. I mean, we kind of got hints of the issues between Bungie and some of the other first party studios. The beginning of this generation, the first party studios, instead of the focus being on new IPs or even continuing some of their existing IPs, it seemed like there was a call to remaster a lot of things. And some of that was because they were risk adverse. They didn't want to take chances on new IPs to some extent. And I think that may have been why Barlog was in the process of leaving, and then they kind of got him back into the fold. But it seemed like there is some, I wouldn't say mismanagement, but there is something behind the scenes that's going on, in the sense, before we even talk about the Jim Ryan leaving or being fired or quietly being pushed out the door kind of deal. There's just not been anything significant that Jim has done since he's headed the reins, other than, promoting that they're going to do 12 gas games, which then got rolled back to 10, which now seems like it only might be 8 if some of those other ones haven't been canceled. And it's not to say that, while he was in charge, that they haven't done well. A lot of that, I think, was, thanks to Sean Layden for the most part. I think you could have, and I hate saying this term, but I think you could have put probably any boob in that position and they would have had the same results so far. PlayStation 5 would have still done as well, no matter who was at the helm. I think the first party games that were released in the first 2 years would have still done as well as they have, no matter who would have been in that position. So I think a lot of that is like kind of carryover from, Sean Layden's time. And if we look back at like Don Matrick compared to like Jim Ryan, I think you're going to probably see some of the fallout or some of the consequence in the next couple of years. And he could have made it work, or overall it could have worked, but I think the PlayStation fan base as a whole isn't really geared for these games as a service or multiplayer games. They're more about the single player games, and that's what they've been conditioned to enjoy, because that's what they've been fed for 5-6+ years of good games that are just the single player focus. But there are so many other things that they could have done IP wise, or whether it's old IPs or new IPs, that could have been mixed in there, and it just seemed like it was a missed opportunity. But I I don't want to say it's completely, you ever see the meme with the dog and he's drinking his coffee in the house that's burning kind of thing. This is fine.
Yes, with the top
But
hat. Yes.
yeah, but that's kind of how I see it to some extent, because sure, God of War did well. Ragnarok did great, but I don't think it got or reached the same acclaim as, the original 2018. I'm hoping Spider-Man 2 reaches similar acclaim that the original 2018 Spider-Man did, but I just get this feeling it's not going to have the same, response. It'll do well. It's just that it won't be, 25 or 30 mil right off the bat kind of thing. I think it'll be probably a much slower burn as far as reaching 20 mil in a 2-year span or something to that effect. But there's just some good things that they could have done as far as more games to PC, but not wait 2 years to release them. I mean,
if this was releasing day and date with PC, you'd see 5 million in the first 30 days.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be a situation where everybody's worried about cannibalization of sales. Like most of us on Xbox, or even a lot of the PlayStation cats that have a PC, they would probably buy it for both. They'd probably buy the physical copy for their PS5 and the digital version for their computer, and that would be the mod version or the one where they see all the bells and whistles, because the PC versions have always, when they release them, they're widescreen, they have better visuals than what the PS5 could even deliver. So I could see a lot of those that have both hardware in their house double dipping like many of us over in the Xbox camp. But as far as those that are PlayStation owners or PlayStation 5 owners, chances are if you already bought the PlayStation 5, you're not really focused on gaming on your PC, let's just say. Because if you're a PC gamer, you have a lot of other things that you can focus on gaming wise, where if you have a PS5, that's kind of like, okay, I'll play that when this particular first party game comes out. But you're still getting the sale. It's not like that PC guy is not going to buy. They're just going to pirate it or something along those lines. Although I'm pretty sure there'll be a small number that do, but that's not going to be the thing that hurts them in the long run. Having it day and date would make more sense moving forward, just so that way you don't have to worry about the games coming to Steam almost 2 years later, only doing 50,000 or 100,000 copies, because it's already a 5-year-old game or a 2 or 3-year-old game. The interest is kind of waned off to some extent while other stuff has come out. So there's just so many things that feel like missteps or mismanagement or whatever you want to call it. But I think something's definitely going on. And yeah, a lot of people clown people for saying, oh, there won't be a PS6. Well, look, starting to look a lot more like there may not be a PS6, but we'll see how that goes. But it's funny how everybody was worried about, Xbox after Redfall or Xbox after, like, they raised the prices on said service like $1 or $2, but yet I don't see all that concern when there was a $20 or $40 annual increase on their service, which has less to offer. So there's definitely some problems, and hopefully they get it figured out, because I didn't buy that PS5 for it to sit there and collect dust. Hopefully they start, talking about a roadmap, or we hear something about a Ghost of Tsushima 2. It's great that we can all assume that there will be one, but it'd be nice to, at least see the direction it's headed, whether it's a different island again or just a different time period or whatever the case may be. It'd be nice to know, hey, that's what I'm looking forward to on that box. Or it'd be nice if they, as far as like Dreadpool was saying, whether it's Siphon Filter or me personally, I'd rather have SOCOM. I just have something from their old catalog come out, as opposed to a game that's not even 5 years old. Like, why are we remastering stuff that's like only a couple of years old? I understand if you want to put it on PC, although you don't have to call it a remaster at that point. And I get that, oh, well, there's some PS5 owners that weren't PS4 owners, so it might make sense, even though it's still playable from the PS4 version. But it just feels weird where there's much better games like Bloodborne, I think, would be a better one to remaster, because it is over 5 years old.
That would sell a ton of copies, dude. And you know what? The fact that they haven't pushed the envelope to get a Bloodborne 2 is even more crazy. Like, there's some of the decisions that have made Sony who they are fundamentally are just not being made. And it's it's bonkers.
Yeah. So it's just a weird time for them, and everybody seems so concerned about Phil or calling for his job. But everybody was happy with Jim Ryan, and now that he's leaving, it's like, please don't go. And it's like, I don't think
So
you
the
guys
spaces,
realize.
the please don't go Jim Ryan space is pretty ridiculous.
It's like, I don't think people realize how bad he's kind of, set things back. If you're that single player PlayStation fan, he's kind of set things back for you for a good bit. And then if you're, somebody that has a PlayStation 5 and a PC, it looks like that was headed in the right direction, but maybe, more hot senior people at Sony thought it would be better not to do that. But whatever the case may be, there's stuff going on. Nobody's really talking about it in the sense that, why isn't there a roadmap? Like, this is normally the time frame within a generation where Sony's like, here's all of our cards on the table for the next 4 years. We just have games as a service, and everybody's talking about all the PlayStation insiders are talking about a secret showcase that doesn't exist.
Secret showcase, yes. Still waiting on that.
No, but that's all I got. I hope for better. Whoever takes the reins next go around, hopefully they're more like a Sean Layden next go around. But yeah, there's some problems over there, and whether the people want to admit it or not, just give me that roadmap for the next 4 years. And Corey Barlog's sci-fi game, nothing official. It'd be at least nice to have like a code name or something, especially considering they were hacked. Hopefully at some point, some of that information goes to user info. I would rather see some of their code names and things, but outside of that, they definitely need to do something. And I guess Jim Ryan just wasn't it. So that's it.
Well, no, good stuff. Dave, before we bring you in for the final thought on it, I do have to catch up on Super Chats. We have another channel member, UK Lad. Brother, thank you so much for joining the channel. We super appreciate the generosity. Dreadful Sean drops an outstanding $10 Super Chat and says, PlayStation is acting like Xbox from the Xbox One generation. Xbox had Gears, Forza, Halo, and TV. God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon, and PlayStation has and their just released movies into their game service. And we were talking about that in the green room. Listen, I'm all for adding content to your service. Does a $40 increase to $160 a year for their ultimate version of PlayStation Plus worth it with adding movies? No. Yes, I'm a movie buff. I have subscriptions to pretty much everybody. Shudder, Hulu, you name it, I have it, right? I don't mind it because Mrs. Boom and I are movie buffs. That's what we do. We love watching film. We love watching, we're addicted to, Korean dramas, as you know. But what about Sony cornering the market in anime? Right? They own Funimation. They own Crunchyroll. They just bought another one. How come all of that anime isn't added to the service? I don't know. It brings certainly more value, but that's not the case. So yeah, great point. We also have the Ancient One drops a very generous additional $5 Super Chat and says, Remake Station 6 might be sandwiched between Netflix and Disney Plus on my apps page. Shout out to the King. Yes, King David's thing. He thinks PlayStation 6 is going to be an app, and he may not be wrong at this rate. Raiden Blade, who is a generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding £2 Super Chat and says, thank God I'm on Xbox. If I was on PlayStation, I'd be jealous. Yeah, and you know what? The beauty about Xbox is you can play anywhere, folks. Play on your PC, play on your TV via the app for Samsung. Play on your phone, play on your tablet, play on your ROG Ally or your Steam Deck, or you know what? I don't know. Play on your console because you can do all of that, and you get a bag of chips on top of it. We have Torino Johnson, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 Super Chat and says, found out in Starfield that if you upgrade your ship builder skill points, you can access your cargo hold anywhere on the planet. Are you serious, dude? Like, I have 5 days in it, and I had no idea. Like, I have like some of the important perks That's one of them I don't have. Damn it, man! I gotta upgrade that. Thank you for the information.
I like that.
It's because I'm always okay. So there are powers in the game. Spoiler: the game's been out for almost a month. Sorry, there's one that you have to find because you can create your own atmosphere, and while it's active, you could have 2,000 pounds of stuff on you, and you can run, and it doesn't take not a piece of energy, and you just keep doing it, and you keep just keep running. It's fantastic.
See, this is the point right here, what we're talking about. Talking about good stuff in games that we enjoyed,
Yes.
sharing this stuff, sharing this knowledge. This is the point right here why we do all this. That part there, thank you for that.
No, yeah, it got, and there's even one where I'm looking for it. Like I have like a few. I think there are 12, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's 12. Is it? Fuzzy, am I wrong? Is it 12 of them? 12 powers, or is there more?
I think it might be 24.
Oh, Jesus. Well, then I am nowhere close to being
How
done.
are,
Oh,
how,
my
you're still discovering new things. That was the whole point of what we've all said about Starfield.
Jesus
Like-
Christmas. I thought there was a dozen of them because there's one that slows time down,
Mhm.
and I don't have that. I saw a video where a guy walked into a room and all he did was kill everybody. And he didn't even literally, no one moved. He slowed down time. Boom, 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 boom. The times gets, everyone's just collapsing. I'm like, I got to find that power.
Is that one called the Mannequin Challenge?
I don't know what it is, but all I know is that it's I got to get that power.
And for a game that flopped, here we are
it's a
still
flop, yes.
finding new stuff, and the excitement is still there. Oh, go figure. But carry on.
Yeah, no. We have N9 and E, and then of course it's repeated as N9 and E. Welcome to the program. Thank you for the generosity. He drops a $2 super chat and says it's a 30 hours to the platinum for Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I don't play the games like that. Like I like taking pictures. I mean, if that's the case, then 30 hours it's going to be. For me, these map games, which of course I live in, well, I don't live in New York. I'm in Westchester, but I've worked in New York as a police officer. I want to swing around. I want to, like, I do all the, like, I spend a lot of time like helping just citizens. Oh, look, some person getting robbed, and I'll see it on the map and I go. I'm for Sony's first party games, I'm a 50-hour guy. That's always been my thing because I really do like putting on my headphones, kind of just being left alone to enjoy the characters. That's how I play Sony games. But if it's 30 hours for a platinum, I guess that's great. I mean, I don't care. It's 30 hours. I'm gonna enjoy that game regardless of whether it's 20 hours. I'm glad that it's 30, but for me, it's probably gonna be a 50-hour game. We have Splendiferous, drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, damage is not the word, Boom, more like assassinated. And yeah, I mean, you know, they Killer Phil, man, he's here and he's real. And wait till you see my thumbnail for next week. It is funny. Highlander 001 drops an additional $5 super chat and says, after yesterday's Call of Duty showcase, I cannot wait to play the new Call of Duty. I think Sony could have had all of ABK, but for Jim Ryan being stubborn, yeah, they got a worse deal. There's no doubt about it. Scott Woodford drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Sony should have a new Twisted Metal. Yes, absolutely. As a battle royale, that would be freaking dope, dude. Apparently, they don't like easy money. I mean, the show was really good. Like, it was really good. Why is there not a game? Why is there not a game to follow the show? You know, what did they just release? Nintendo just released 100-year-old F-Zero 99. Did anyone play it? Because you could play it for free, and it's freaking amazing. It's 8-bit graphics or 8-bit, 16-bit graphics. It's like it's the F-Zero you know and love, but you're playing against 99 other players, and it's free. They could have made a free-to-play Twisted Metal with all the bells and whistles that you know come with the Sony release, and it could have been a games as a service, and I would have played it because I love Twisted Metal Black, by far my favorite in the entire series. What an amazing game. I don't know what Sony's doing. Psychonauts drops a very generous $5 super chat and says PlayStation has a first party problem. Under Jim Ryan, PlayStation hasn't been taking any chances on new IPs. PlayStation has taken the safe bet, and it's going to backfire. And of course, we're going to see that with The Last of Us Part 2 remake. Unnecessary. Dave, let's get your very stout hot take. Is PlayStation burning from within? And more importantly, can they contain the firestorm?
Well, they definitely they're up against a wall, and it's clear. And there's a lot of fanboys, and I'm say fanboys is diehard PlayStation only people that that are gonna go to the hill, gonna die on this hill kind of thing, in support of them. Look, I own a PlayStation 5. I love my system. It's great. Ghost of Tsushima is probably one of my favorite games on any platform. I really love that game. But right now, the reality is they may be the market leader, but that's not sustainable if they keep doing what they're doing in the marketplace. There's the reality is we don't know what they've got on the docket coming up, and with their leadership change, it's all coming together. And then plus all the different studios that are talking about layoffs, and other studios that are talking about things that they want them to do, and how they feel about the gas game situation. All those kind of things are starting to come to light, that there is definitely some issues for the Sony PlayStation market. Now, Sony themselves, obviously, they're a big, huge, dominating company, and I think that they're going to be fine. I don't see them losing first place overnight. That's not going to happen. Even with the ABK deal done next week, it's just not. But is there what they say? When you're out hunting, is there blood in the water? Is Microsoft been throwing chum out there to to get a bigger audience? Yes, and I think that it's going to be amazing to see what's going to happen this next year. I mean, this year's been obviously wow, all over the place, ups and downs, both companies. But I think as we get into the holiday season, the Keeleys, we'll see exactly what the roadmap is, because PlayStation's going to bring out something, even if it's something way off in the future or not really ready to go, but just they're going to throw some breadcrumbs out there because they're good at that. If that happens, then we'll get a better, clearer picture of what 2024 is going to offer for all gamers. And I have a feeling that Microsoft is going to have a very full plate and buffet. And remember, folks, they're not done buying at all.
No, they're not. And with the games as a service already in place for Microsoft as a company. And then one of the ones I don't know, how the hell do I forget this? World of Warcraft is another thing that just prints money. Now, maybe it's not as popular as it once was. But that's going to be under the Microsoft Game Studios umbrella. You put Diablo there, you put Call of Duty there, you put Candy Crush there, and you add WoW there. Even if they didn't have all of these other avenues of games as a service making money for them through their already stout first party, I mean, that those 4 IPs are literally going to print money for Microsoft. And then Microsoft is, in fact, going to then take that money and they're going to double down on first party games because they have so many gas games already making money for them. This is where Microsoft, again, how many people have in the chat have said, I wish Sony would get weird again. I wish Sony would go back to what made them great during the PlayStation 2 era, during the PlayStation 3 era, because they were weird. and they were making money hand over fist. There was no such thing as games as a service back then. They did what traditional consoles do. They sell you the box, they sell you the game, rinse and repeat. But that's not the way the gaming market is anymore. It is a market that is dominated with online play, something that they still have not figured out for themselves. And Crispy Bomb is always saying that. Where are the multiplayer Sony games? Well, they're nowhere to be found, folks. And that's a Sony problem. And that's why they are burning from the inside. That's why they are in a pickle. But look, at the end of the day, I want to say a big thank you to everyone that turned out to, that are here. I want to thank a big, huge thank you to all of the outstanding generosity that we saw during the show. We had over 20 super chats, and on top of that, we have 20 plus new channel members. Now, obviously, those were gifted, and I cannot thank the folks enough for that. Let me actually just go into the private chat. So, of course, I want to give credit where credit is absolutely due. God Emperor Sofa King donated, folks, 12. So I'm sorry, it's over 30. 12 channel memberships. Sofa King, that's crazy. Thank you so much for that. And of course, Juan, who became a channel member just recently, gifted 20, which is just crazy. 20 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. And again, listen, if you don't stay around because we don't do anything extra for the channel memberships, I hear you. I literally did 6 shows this week. I'm spent at the end of the week because remember, I work on the channel 7 days. There's nothing more for me to give. Hopefully you like the shows enough that you stay on as channel members. That'd be greatly appreciated. It allows us to do even more giveaways than the 3 big ones that we normally do. But let's get to the outros, and we'll start first with, of course, Crispy Bomb. Brother, sell the brand. Not only are you on this show, but you're on Wilmy Hood's Sunday show each and every week. Talk about that, and more importantly, where could people reach out to you on social media?
First thing I want to say is that don't be weak like the stands. Do not review bomb. Do not spoil Spider-Man 2.
Thank you.
I will give you the same damn smoke. I'm telling you right now.
Yes.
I have already started doing it. I'll tell you, if you annoy me enough, I'll just block you. I'm not that type of person. Boom knows I probably have more people that I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Finally, I have to block you. But I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you're not thinking if you do that, you are being weak. You are being weak. You're mentally weak. And you're so mad that, the other weak people on the other side decided to do that in the first place. Don't do it. Just don't. But it's at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Crispy Bomb 28, Xbox Live. Game Biox on Sundays. I'm going to be taking a slight step back. I've had a lot of stuff going on in life. It's one of those things now I get home from Sunday and I kind of just want to sit there and watch football.
And you have a good team to watch, not like the Steelers. They suck.
But at the same time, I haven't just completely walked away. So you could find me there if I'm up for it. And then, of course, back here on Breakfast of Boom. Sometimes you might find me during the week if I have a day off, on this channel as well. But we'll see you then.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm with Crispy here. I think, and this is my personal opinion, that the Xbox community, though it has its knuckleheads, and there are quite a few of them, which of course here on this channel remain nameless because we don't need to do that. I don't like to swim in those kind of waters. You know who I'm talking about. Each community has knuckleheads. It's a fact. It's social media. They are who we thought that they were. But I actually want to agree with Crispy here. I think that the Xbox community is the best community. I think they're the most mature community. I know that it's very easy to fling poo at something like a Spider-Man 2 because you want to get, quote unquote, revenge for what people have done towards Starfield and Motorsport, but you don't have to. Folks, if you are an Xbox gamer, you are winning. You don't have to review bomb Spider-Man. If you choose to, I'm not going to hate you. Go do your thing. I'm just not going to be a part of that rhetoric. I'm going to buy Spider-Man, which I did. I got the $90 digital deluxe edition. and I'm all for it. Why? Why would I spend $90? Because I get all the costumes. That's okay. I don't mind. I always buy all of the deluxe editions. That's what I do. I didn't care so much for the $300 edition because I didn't like the statue. I was like, it's okay. So I didn't get that. But if you listen, be better. Actually, be better than the crappy PlayStation community because there's more crappy PlayStation players than there are Xbox. Sorry, it's a fact. But let's continue. Fuzzy Belvedere, sell your brand because right now we want to get you to 1,000 subscribers. And right now, the best place for anything and everything in racing, which of course is Forza Motorsport, that just released the other day to early access and on the 10th of next week. Well, no better place to go than Fuzzy Belvedere's YouTube channel. Sell it, brother. Tell people where they can subscribe. And more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
As always, thank you for having me on, Boom. Greatly appreciate the opportunity. And it's always great to be on here with Crispy, Web Dave, and Dreadpool and you. It's so much fun. Just talking games and enjoying, this hobby we all have in common. Also want to thank everybody in the chat for interacting with us. And while we may not agree on which game is better or which game they prefer, as long as we're enjoying gaming, that's why we're all here. So always welcome differing opinions and interacting with everyone. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming, especially now that we're in Forza time, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also search my name, Fuzzy Belvedere, on YouTube to find me with my either reviews or tips and pointers and things along those lines for racing games and such. You can also see me on Xbox Ultimate later on tonight on Fun Speculations channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shop Podcast is Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PTK Blam's channel, and then right back here for Xbox Lunch Break Special 12 noon on Monday. Look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, looking forward to it as well. And shout out to someone I've never seen in the chat before, Jay Nunya. Says, I'm too busy playing games to have the time to review Bomb Spider-Man. I mean, good on you. That's what it's all about. We're here to play games, and you should absolutely enjoy yourself. Welcome to the channel, by the way, and thanks so much for taking the time to be here. Let's get Dreadpool. Let's bring Dreadpool into the conversation. Dreadpool, sell your brand, brother. Throw it up there so we could throw that up on the screen so everyone can check it out. You can find Dreadpool at many places. YouTube.com/Dreadpool, Twitter at Twitter, Dreadpool, TikTok at Dreadpool, Linktree.com/Dreadpool, and of course, finally at hover.gg/Dreadpool. Not only is he here each and every Friday, of course, when he can be here, but he's also on Gaming Beyond the Box with Wilmy Hood and that crazy gang. Talk about it, brother. Sell the brand. Where can people check out Breaking Bread with Dread? Subscribe to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, find you on social media.
Yes. Again, thank each and every single one of you for being here. Again, I love you all. This is what it's really about, is the community that we talk and we share our hobby. Thank you, Boom, for creating all this for us to create our own platforms. I'm almost at 2K.
I should be thanking you guys because I don't have a show without you being here. So thank you.
Well, it's mutual, right? I guess it's it works that way. But again, thank you all. Yes, YouTube. I just went as I started at the beginning of the show. I went to Petrified Forest, so I got some shorts coming out. I'm going to be working on some video Sunday night. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to Game Beyond the Box, but definitely check them out. I'll be at Sir Henry's doing some more videos over there and running into the houses. So I've already got some of that stuff on my YouTube. I still have those 3 that I'm working on. I just haven't had time for those Breaking Breads, and Back from the Dead and Blondie are in 2 of those. So look forward to getting those out there for you all to enjoy, hopefully before the end of the year. And again, thank you all. I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys for the support. And hopefully we can hit 2K before the end of this month. Just
that would be
50,
dope.
50 away.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
nice. 50 away. We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
And I got a whole bunch more content planned. You don't understand how much stuff is is going on as to why I'm so busy. But yes, just keep a lookout on the YouTube channel. I will have some stuff on TikTok and everything, but everything just TikTok, or I'm sorry, Twitter and YouTube is going to be the main thing to look for. And then from there on, it just, wherever it goes. So again, thank you all.
Well,
I
listen, we're happy
appreciate
to
it.
have you here each and every week. Like I said, when you can be here, Dread, and of course, next Friday, folks, is when we are expecting. Again, it's going to happen. We just know if it's going to happen on Friday. We should get big information from the CMA regarding them just their obviously passing the deal in the UK, and of course whether Microsoft actually signs the deal that day or at some point that day. We're going to be covering it here. Dread, hopefully we can get you if you're not already at 2K. We're going to have a big, I would imagine, a big group of people joining us potentially for the first time next Friday. So if you don't get it on your own, we're gonna definitely get it for you next Friday, as we've done from numerous podcasters, and again, that's what it's about, is lifting up others. And speaking of lifting up others, Web Dave, let's sell your brand, brother. You got a big show coming up this Sunday. Cannot wait for it. You dropped a really good one-on-one. The one-on-one interviews are the best in the business, and they're back. Dave, sell the brand. Where can people check out your YouTube channel, subscribe to help you guys continue to grow, and more importantly, reach out to you on social media?
Thanks, Boom. I think you still got Dread's stuff up. I don't know if you want to go back to all of us, but that's up to you. Yeah, so I've got an interview dropping on Monday with Axel 1324.
Nice.
Which I know Dread knows him quite well, and
Yes.
he's a cool cat. He's the host of the iconic video games podcast, and also the host of a Good Morning Xbox, which Dread is also on most times when he's awake.
Yes.
So yeah,
exactly.
so looking forward to that. It was a really good interview, and I'm glad everybody gets to check it out. Now this Sunday, I'll make this quick, but Sunday is gonna be big. Our topic says it all: best racing game ever, Forza Motorsports. I think so.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got Jesse Norris from Xbox here are going to be there, and
Nice.
as well as Kay Asante from the Circle Podcast is going to join us, and yeah, it's going to be a great one.
Nice. Well, we're looking forward to that as always. Jesse Norris always bringing his A game, as well as Kay Asante as well. Should be a great show with you and Retri. But folks, listen again. I want to say a big thank you to all of the massive support for the channel through channel memberships and, of course, through super chats. And I just want to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.